The untold story of Suge Knight. How could anyone imagine that once the king of rap music could be an unknown criminal? Known by the nickname of Sugar Bear, Suge Knight could be a troublemaker with the law. Want to know the actual story behind Suge Knight's criminal whereabouts? Well, stay tuned and watch this video till the end. Hello everyone and welcome back to Celebs in Jail. Today, we are going to talk about the untold story of Suge Knight. But before we begin, make sure you subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our amazing videos. And let's begin! Once upon a time, Marion Suge Knight was king of the West Coast. He was in charge of the studio as well as the streets. His friends included well-known rappers and gang leaders. Those times are over now. Suge Knight is better known these days for his long list of rap songs. Knight, whose nickname is Sugar Bear, has been in trouble with the law for a long time. He was good at football from the start. In college, he played defensive end. During the 1987 NFL strike, he was a replacement player for the Los Angeles Rams. Knight worked as a bodyguard for celebs like Bobby Brown when his football career didn't work out. He also started spending more time in music circles. Knight and Andre Young, best known as Dr. Dre, started Death Row Records in the beginning of the 1990s. As the label grew into a $100 million a year business, Knight became known for bad things. One newspaper called him the most feared man in hip-hop, and another compared him to controversial New York City mob boss John Gotti. Now let me tell you about the criminal history of Suge Knight in chronological order. 1987. This is when the long list of crime starts. Sharitha Golden, who was going to marry Suge, got a protection order against him in October. Knight broke the order when he grabbed Golden by the hair and cut off her ponytail, which got him arrested for the first time. Suge's arrested again just 2 weeks later. This time he shot the man in the leg and wrist as he tried to steal his Nissan Maxima. Knight's successful football career got him out of trouble, and his charges were magically reduced to misdemeanors that came with $1,000 fines and 3 years of probation. You heard that correctly. He shot a man twice and stole his car, but all he got was a $1,000 fine. In 1988, Suge was arrested at LA Airport Terminal for beating up a man. 1990 was a hectic year for the man who would soon run Death Row Records. Suge breaks some poor guy's jaw with a loaded gun in Las Vegas. He gets some other slap on the wrist for the $9,000 fine and a 2-year suspended sentence. He also agreed to plead guilty to 2 counts of battery, 1 in Hollywood and 1 in Beverly Hills, and a charge of disturbing the peace in Van Nuys. What happened as a result of these charges? More probation. In 1991, Suge tried to get more control over Death Row Records. One way he did this was by forcing Eazy-E to give up his contracts with Dr. Dre and DOC. Knight gets another suspended sentence for giving a false name when he was caught with a gun in Beverly Hills. During this time, Vanilla Ice was also said to have been hung from a balcony by Suge, which never happened. Instead, Ice and Suge's group went to court to fight about royalties for Ice Ice Baby. The iconic balcony's edge was probably shown to him by Suge, though. 1992, Suge would have won the gold medal if convictions and arrests were an Olympic sport. He was found guilty of carrying a concealed weapon in West Covina, disturbing the peace in Van Nuys, and as if that weren't enough, he beat and shot at 2 aspiring rappers for using the Death Row office phones without permission. Both of these convictions, of assault with a deadly weapon of course, were followed by suspended sentences. Suge was ultimately taken into custody for armed assault following that event. The 2 rappers, George and Linwood Stanley, continued by claiming that Suge was let off the hook because of murky dealings with the prosecutor, whose daughter was supposed to be on a Death Row Records album. Also in 1992, 2 individuals are stabbed in New Orleans, and Suge, Dr. Dre, and DOC are detained. There's substantial speculation regarding the setting. Some claim that it was either during a radio conference or at the film Mo Money's premiere. In either case, Suge was somehow connected to the stabbings. Suge is implicated in a narcotics trafficking network that moved cocaine from Los Angeles to his old haunt of Las Vegas. Once more, probation in 1993. After a relatively quiet 1994, Suge makes a criminal comeback, this time for the stomping murder of Kelly Jamerson at a Death Row Records party at the El Rey Theater. He had been battered so severely that he hardly resembled himself. The involvement of Suge was a persistent rumor. In January 1995, Suge was charged with conspiracy to unlawfully possess a handgun. No one was detained in connection with the murder of Jamerson, and the possession accusation resulted in no jail time. On September 7, 1996, Suge and Tupac Shakur are seen bashing Orlando Anderson at the MGM Grand Hotel in Las Vegas on surveillance film. The earlier beating of a Suge and Tupac acquaintance is allegedly the work of Crips member Anderson. The murder of Tupac later that evening, which was shot dead in front of Suge, was never solved. Suge has had a tenuous connection to the killings ever since Tupac and the Notorious B.I.G. passed away, but no concrete evidence has ever been presented before a judge. In 1997, Knight received a 9-year sentence, but only served 5 of them due to his prior offenses and video evidence from the night of Tupac's death showing Suge assaulting a witness. In 2001, Suge told Newsweek that before entering prison, he frequently visited nightclubs and spent a lot of time on the streets. He told that everything was going to change when he went home. He even said that he would take care of his business and make sure it'll be successful again. The period of independence was brief. Knight was taken back to jail in December 2002 for breaking the terms of his release. Authorities discovered Knight with numerous gang members when they invaded the brand new Death Row Records offices. They were there as a result of a murder investigation, but Knight was not involved. He was particularly ordered not to associate with seedy types as part of his parole. He was incarcerated for 61 days. In June of 2003, Knight struck a parking lot worker at the White Lotus nightclub after his vehicle got blocked in. After that, Suge returned to prison to complete a 10-month sentence for breaking his parole terms again. Suge got stopped for doing an illegal U-turn in his automobile in February 2005. Knight was apprehended after a search revealed drugs. He spent 1 week in jail before being exonerated of possession charges. Knight was arrested outside of a Las Vegas strip club for drug and assault charges. It appeared he assaulted his girlfriend, Melissa Isaac. Isaac failed to appear in court to testify, thus the allegations against him were withdrawn. Suge was stopped for a traffic infraction in 2013 while driving with a suspended license. He posted a $20,000 bond for that. Knight pleaded not guilty in 2014 to an incident in which he and Cat Williams reportedly stole a photographer's camera. Due to his prior run-ins with the law, Suge faced up to 30 years in prison if he violated his restrictions. Suge ran over a man while visiting a filming location in 2015, killing him and wounding another. He claimed he was fleeing an attack at the time and surrendered. Knight's trial has been repeatedly postponed. The most recent delay occurred when Knight was hospitalized at the end of March. In addition to manslaughter, he was charged with threatening the death or physical injury by texting the Straight Outta Compton director. Suge claimed innocence and the charge was withdrawn, but he agreed to a plea deal in Terry Carter's death in September 2018. The 6'2", 265-pound thug pleaded no contest to voluntary homicide and earned 28 years in San Diego's R.J. Donovan Correctional Facility, where he still remains. Marion Suge Knight was a happy boy. He once tormented the opposing football squad as a defensive lineman. Suge became a music mogul with a rich profession, but his hunger for violence would be his downfall. After parole violations, financial disagreements, altercations, and more than one murder, the law came for Suge, and he switched his gold bars for jail bars. Well, there you have it, the untold story of Suge Knight. And that's it for today's video. We sincerely hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and share it with your friends and family. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel where you'll see more of our incredible videos. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.